Hello everybody and welcome to our new lesson, which is the failure of dictatorship. It's gonna be in chapter 32, lesson 3. As we had discussed in the previous lesson, which is the rise of dictatorships in Latin America or in South America. And we had discussed 6 main countries over there, which were Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Panama, and Haiti. And of course, they didn't succeed to enhance the economic conditions over there. So all the dictatorships failed miserably. They failed to achieve social and economic reforms. They had faced 3 main problems: the infant mortality, or the killing of the small children, of course, because of the malnutrition or the lack of their nutrition, and of course the ultimate problem or the biggest problem, which was poverty. The dictatorships did not manage to bring about stability and security, and we gonna find out why. Although the transmission of the authority from dictatorship to democracy was a peaceful way, but they faced some problems. The return of democracy in Latin America was actually fairly peaceful. The change came, of course, this transmission simply came when a combination of internal and external forces began to apply pressure for reforms. Of course, by these by these internal and the external forces, I mean, of course, the internal, the people need to see some change. They want to enhance their living conditions. But for the external forces, like the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and a corporate of foreign banks, of course, the result that they had some kind of free elections. The democracy in Brazil returned in the early 1970s, in Argentina in 1982, in Chile the Pinochet regime fell down in the 1990s. So let's start with our first country, or our first example, which gonna be Mexico. Here's Mexico in the map, by the way. Mexico will be in the link between North and South America. Over there in Mexico, there was one and only political party, which was the PRI, or the Institutional Revolutionary Party. In fact, this political party ruled Mexico for more than 70 years, and of course, it's a clear example of dictatorship. But unfortunately, this ruling party won all the elections during this period of time, during these 70 years, of course, was because of the fraud. They forced the people to go to vote. But as usual, the main problem was with the economic conditions. Of course, the foreign debt grew tremendously because they couldn't pay their debts, because they used some technique or some way from their own point of view in order to enhance the economic conditions over there. They invited a lot of international companies to invest in Mexico, but unfortunately all the profits will go outside of Mexico. So the ultimate result was the foreign debt grows tremendously. So, in order to take control over the protesters, they simply started to kill some of them. Plus, some conditions happened, like a major earthquake happened in 1985 and destroyed large parts of the Mexico City. Plus, there was an international fall in the oil prices. In fact, all of these were conditions that helped, by the way, that helped the people to revolt, all the conditions to be changed over there. So in 1992, Mexico, the United States, and Canada, they simply signed the NAFTA treatment. The NAFTA treatment, or the NAFTA is an abbreviation for North American Free Trade Agreement. By this agreement, Canada and the States simply helped Mexico to enhance its economy by eliminating the tariffs or the customs on the trade between the three countries in an attempt to enhance the Mexican economy. And it was a good try from the two main countries, but the conditions didn't go well. In 1997, there was new elections over there, and one of the opposition parties won the elections, and they simply nominated Vicente Fox as a president, and he became the new Mexican president, by the way. The relations between the two countries were strained in 2006 when the political leaders in the United States started to enhance or started to make some actions for the illegal Mexican immigrants. So they tried to improve the border security. Fox argued that both countries needed to address the economic disparities that encouraged illegal immigration and to recognize the status of immigrant workers in the United States. So instead of enhancing the border security, he said, let's try to fix the problems or try to enhance the economy that forced the Mexicans to take the risk for the illegal immigration. And eventually he couldn't enhance the economy, which led his next opponent, or in the next elections in 2006, Felipe Calderon of the Conservative PAN party won the elections, and he simply, I do not know what's this problem, but let's see if it works or not. But he won the elections and he tried to enhance the economy. So this, guys, will be for Mexico. Of course, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, in order to enhance the economy in Latin America, in order to help the countries to enhance its economic conditions, of course, in order to lend them some money, he must have to ensure, in order to ensure that these countries will pay back their portion of the loan, he will try to make some kind of market reforms. By these market reforms, I mean drastically cutting the government spending, including the funding for the social programs. So if the government have any kind of social programs, these programs must be shut down, ending some government subsidies of businesses. And the subsidies, guys, will be in order to enhance the economy. The government will try simply to give some amounts of money to the people to start their own business. selling the government services to private enterprise in order to enhance it and try to get some profits out of it, returning the inefficient, the government controlled businesses to the private ownership. So instead of wasting the public money after selling it, the private sector will try to get some profits out of it. The strengthening regional trade agreement and establishing new ones. Of course, all of these are examples of market reforms in order to enhance the economy over there in Latin American countries. These cost-cuttings, free market measures were intended to stabilize shaky economies by reducing the inflation and expanding the exports. The result of these market reforms was simply some countries managed to have some success over there and they enhanced the economy as well. Many countries experienced economic growth and stability, and as private enterprise becomes stronger, but others unfortunately suffered. In Brazil, by the way, the inflation fell down, so the reforms were successful over there. In Chile, the reforms cut the poverty rate in half between 1990 and 2003. So in only 13 years, the conditions over there in Chile were good. So the economy simply enhanced. So as a result, they started to lend Brazil more money to enhance its economy more. In 2007, in Argentina, simply the conditions were not good. The country could not pay its multi-billion-dollar debt. So the president had taken a their decision. This decision was simply devaluing the Argentines' currency. By devaluing the currency, by the way, the people simply lost their money. The people's money was suddenly worth less than it was before. 1/3 of the population over there lives on less than $2 a day, and this is called poverty. The gap between rich and poor people has widened. So there is no such a thing called the middle class. The middle class simply vanished because the gap has been widened. But the conditions over there in Venezuela and Bolivia are different. First of all, let's see where is Venezuela. Venezuela will be on the top right corner of the South American continent. Over there, the president over there, or the dictator, we should say, over there was Hugo Chavez. He took the risk, by the way, and he said that he will simply eliminate the poverty. So he used his power and he ruled the country, by the way, with an iron fist in order to enhance the economy. But unfortunately, he failed to reach anything of his claims and he turned the country away from democracy and toward dictatorship. So he simply failed to enhance the economy over there. In Bolivia, and first of all, let's see where is Bolivia. Here it is in the central part of South America. The president over there was Evo Morales. Evo Morales, by the way, he took some humorous decisions, or their decisions, let's say. He simply nationalized the natural gas industry, of course, in order to enhance the economy. So all the profits will simply go to the government, not to the foreign nations or not to the international companies. And he encouraged the people, by the way, to simply plant the coca leaves. The coca leaves, by the way, is one of the main components of cocaine. Yes, he simply encouraged the people to plant drugs in order to enhance the economy. And of course, this will not ever, never work in history. So this will be for Venezuela and Bolivia. Thank you for watching our lesson, guys. It was a short one, but it has a lot of details. So